That's right. Here we go. Another day, another edition of Orange and Blue today, ladies and gentlemen. Cecil, Lammey. We'll see if Andrew Mason jumps in on today's program, but we've got a lot to get to, of course, when it comes to your Denver Broncos, even though they play on Monday night football against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I have said before, I said it this morning on Schlereth and Evans, wouldn't be surprised if they won. Isn't that just the way of the NFL, right? Where it seems down, it seems out, and it seems like there's no way possible, and then you find a way to win. Part of it is just kind of the way the NFL season goes. You know, I wouldn't say I have confidence that the Broncos will win. I am picking the Broncos to win. Obviously, I want to be right in that department. But for me, it comes down to not my confidence in the Broncos necessarily, although things have to get better because they can't really get worse than the Thursday night game. The other part of it is also what we see from the Los Angeles Chargers. They're just not, they don't have that winning attitude, basically, that you need to see. And so it's something to look at and consider when you look at the Denver Broncos opponent for this week. Andrew Mason jumped in here today. And Mace, I was just talking about the Chargers choking like they normally do.
At some point, you figure they're going to stop, right? That's the thing. But we've been waiting generations for it. I mean, but
right.
It's a team, for whatever reason, the formerly San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers seem to have a habit of finding the banana peel, right?
Right.
Like, and it hasn't mattered who the quarterback is. It hasn't mattered who the coach is. This is something that is, for whatever reason, embedded in their DNA. The way that they have lost some games in the last 1 1/3 seasons since Brendan Staley became their head coach very much fits in the grand tradition of chargering it up. How are they going to go full Charger this time, right? I mean, I'm not saying that should be the basis of the hopes for the Broncos heading into this game on Monday night. But sometimes in the back of your mind, if it's in the back of our minds, is it not in the backs of the minds of the Chargers as well, that strange things have a habit of happening to this team, whether it's the in-game management decisions as being the wrong ones in terms of instinct, whether it's injuries. I mean, because how many seasons we talk about the Chargers having an above-average injury rate? I mean,
right.
This is like, I mean, it seems like every year it's like, okay, who's down? Or 1 year, okay, well, they lost 2 offensive linemen and Derwin James, and then the next year they're losing their linebackers, and this year they lose Slater and Bosa, although they're going to get Keenan Allen back. It looks like for this game, it's always something with the Los Angeles Chargers. Always has been.
Yeah, always has been. And you hear Orlando tell the tale because Orlando had to go to the Chargers. He wanted to stay with the Broncos, but he was like, you'd be surprised how it's just the mentality. Like they'll be down by 10 and they'll be like, yep.
Next year they're losing.
What are we doing next week? Right. That's what you look at when you're a Chargers player, because unlike what Orlando was used to with the Broncos, especially with Peyton Manning, it was like, we're down by 10. We got him. We can get him. With the Chargers, it just seems like mentally they're like, nope, we're not going to win. And that seems to still be the case today.
Didn't Big O also complain about the food that they served in the Chargers cafeteria?
The Spanos family, I'm sure it was like Happy Meals or something for those guys. Whatever's cheap.
Oh, my gosh.
Great value.
Great value is the Broncos now, though.
It's the cheap version of the Broncos.
Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're the Broncos, be better. Go out there and win. Mace, because, on Monday we'll be touch and go. We'll see where you're at in the Los Angeles press box. Are you predicting the Broncos win? I am. I'm not confident in it. I'm not doing it to be bold or, I totally believe in the Broncos. No, I just know the way this league works. It seems like they're down and out. It seems like it's impossible. It seems like the Broncos are terrible. Well, it can't get much worse than it did last Thursday. And knowing that the Chargers choke, I am picking the Broncos. I'm not confident in it, Mace. But where are you at with picking this game?
I mean, if it's a coin flip game, just because we're covering the Broncos, I'm going to pick the Broncos. Most games, it seems like, are becoming coin flip games. I mean, I think about the game we saw last night on Thursday Night Football, for instance. You had, the Bears were 2-3. Washington was 1-4. The game was in Chicago, and Washington won. It seems like it's a week-to-week league. It's a play-to-play league, and each week and each game seems to be its own island onto itself more so than I think we've seen in past generations. It really does seem like instead of having a connective tissue over the course of the season, it feels like each game is its own kind of independent entity for each team. And it's very much, okay, what do you do against with matchup X? What do you do with matchup Y? It's part of why you got so many casinos in Las Vegas, because this league is hard to predict. I mean, could the Broncos come out and put up 30 points on the Chargers? Sure, they could. I'm not betting on it. I don't think they're going to fix all the problems on offense, but could they have a game where things go right? Absolutely, they could. Yeah. Could this also be a game where that you have Damari Mathis out there and they pick at him, and Keenan Allen makes some big plays at Damari Mathis' expense? Yeah, I mean, we're not going to know until we really kind of get in the flow of this game.
Yeah, get in the flow of the game and fix something. Now, with as many things as this team has to fix, offensive line and passing woes and who's running the ball, everything on both sides of the ball, coverage of the linebackers, what's the easiest fix? What's the fix you anticipate the most on Monday night? This will look better. Blank will look better. Running
You
game.
First. Okay.
Running game will look better. And part of that is, I believe, Latavius Murray should be the bell cow. Melvin Gordon's the nicest guy ever, whatever I have to say. Like, I don't trust him. And to quote Sam Kinison, and I have to clean it up because it is Sam Kinison, if you don't trust the running back, why are you giving the running back the ball? So for me, I'm like, Latavius Murray gives me confidence. And I know that at the end of the day, if you can run, it sets up everything. And it plays to the strength of your team, which is the defense. Running the ball more just makes more sense, not because I love running the ball and I love the ground game, but because this is what, hey, everything's chips are down, everything's live and all that kind of stuff. Run the ball, settle things down on offense, and have a commitment to the run.
Okay, but are they going to use Latavius Murray in the way you think they will? Because I think part of it is, like, you want them to use Latavius Murray, but are they going to use him that way? I don't think they're going to use him to that extent. I think this is going to be a running back by committee, and whoever is hotter over the course of the game will get more reps as the game goes on. I don't think they know which one's going to get the most reps going into it.
Which is wrong. That's wrong-headed. We're going to be hot hand, and everyone gets 3 carries. Like, how are you supposed to get hot if you're getting 3 carries? Or you get a drive, and you get a drive. This ain't Oprah, baby. Like, I wish they would pick a back and ride that back. And yes, use the other guys. Everyone use some form of committee. Every team out there, even the Titans, will give Dontrell Hilliard some run. Like, just give me something. Give me something to lean on, Mason. Give me some easy fix in your eyes.
Well, I mean, I'd like to think they would stop dropping passes. I mean, that is actually one that's within their control.
That's a good easy fix, yeah.
Yeah. Right now you lead the league in drop rate. And look, I hate to use this guy as a pinata, but Jerry Jeudy has a drop rate that is right there close to where it was in a bad way back in his rookie season, when he was dropping, I believe it was 1 every 5.3 cashable passes they dropped. This year, it's 1 every 5.7. Last year, it was 1 every 20 for Jerry Jeudy. So, like, everyone was focused on the drops as a rookie for Jerry Jeudy. He largely fixed that glitch in year 2, and now he's back where he was, at least so far this season. So, if he wants to be, if he wants to be trusted, then he's got to stop dropping passes.
Yeah, I like that as an easy fix. And you mentioned, I always have Office Space on the mind. I don't know why. Maybe it's the Broncos this year, but you mentioned the glitch. So I just think of the Office Space line of like, well, we fixed the glitch.
Yes. So he's not getting a paycheck anymore.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy's not getting a paycheck. Well, he still is now.
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way in the National Football League. Is it Jerome or Jeremy? Jerome on Facebook says, will the Broncos take over the stadium and it look like a home game?
It'll look like a neutral site game. I'm not going to say a home game. It'll look 50-50, kind of like it has been. Okay. I think the thing is, like, you hear the Broncos fans and it's loud, but there ends up being a fair amount of blue interspersed with that. I mean, like last year when the Broncos played out there, it was a 50-50 crowd. I think that's what you'll see.
Yeah, it is what you will see. It is orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason, and Dave chimes in and says, "Do you think the injury to Russ will make him want to run more, maybe even run less, due to possible further injury?" One of the mysteries, and I'm not sure where you come down on this mystery, Mace, because Derek Wolfe is like, it's just quarterback coach. And then I think it might be a little bit Nathaniel Hackett. Some people, I think Mike Evans said this morning, it's probably Russell Wilson. Who's telling Russ to run less?
Maybe it's Russell Wilson telling himself to run less because he wants to extend his career. This is the thing. Like he's got to evolve. Okay. And that doesn't mean pivot and make yourself into something you're not. Although the running rate has dropped for Russell Wilson over the last few years, but the thing is, it still needs to be a part of his game.
Yes.
So
yeah. And when he was a younger player, it was like 10 rushes a game, something like that, 7 to 10. And then last year when he wasn't hurt, it was around 5. And I had predicted this year, among my 12-win prediction, which is looking oh so bad, I also predicted Russ's rush rate would be around 5. Let him run about 5 times a game, whether that's designed or whether it's a scramble. I want to see him run about 5 times a game. He's better when he's doing that. And as you said, evolution takes time.
But that would have been a higher rush rate than he's had the last few years, though.
Well, because last year you don't include the injury. Without the injury, he was at 5.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like overall relative number of pass plays. Like his because you're talking about like his rush rate back, say 7-8 years ago was anywhere between 12 and 16%. It's been in the single digits in terms of percentage of pass plays the last few years. And if it were 5, if you have 40 pass plays, then that is about 12, 13%. So that actually takes his rush rate back to where it was earlier in his career. So, yeah. I mean, that I would like to see that because he's still effective at it, as we see when he actually does take off and run.
Right.
And it makes him a more difficult quarterback to defend when he does that. But, it's they're trying to make him into a pocket passer. Again, he needs to evolve, not try to pivot, evolve. And if you do that and let things happen naturally, the future is going to take care of itself. So you don't have to worry about that. Like, don't worry about playing till you're 43. Worry about being the best you can at 33.
Right. Worry about being the best you can right now because this team needs you to be at their best, and you're not healthy. You're not at your best. And Mace, I don't think this lat injury just cleans up, and like later on in the year, he'll be fine. I think this is something we deal with the entire time. And we just have to get used to it. We're dealing with a Russell Wilson that isn't quite 100%. You can say that about a lot of players, to be sure. You can say that about quarterbacks, right? Hell, on the other side, Justin Herbert is playing with a ribs injury. Mm-hmm. That ribs injuries come down to pain tolerance. So it's not going to get better. No matter how they try to hide it or disguise it or do something different, it's just kind of here for this year.
Yeah, you just have to live with it, I think.
Yeah, live with it and see what you get. On the flip side, on the Broncos defensive side, Justin Simmons returning. I have suggested more dime as a possibility. You and I have talked about that on this show. But defensively, what issues would you see? And I do have a personal question, Mace. Very personal.
Okay.
When we talk about Pat Surtain, you always mention Mike Williams. Surtain's not going to be on Allen part of the time?
Maybe, but I'm saying if you're the Chargers, what do you do? Do you try to what are you trying to force and set up? Keenan Allen on Damari Mathis. If you set that matchup up, I think that's one that ends up causing more problems. You don't agree with that?
Well, no, that's a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Problem all day. So if you're the Broncos, put your best receiver is Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Put Surtain on Keenan Allen. Travel if you have to. Because Mike Williams, as we've said on this show, Mike Williams will go 10 for 180 and 2 touchdowns, or he'll go 1 for 8. That's just Mike Williams. Yeah. So I'd rather kind of roll the dice on Mike Williams being cold or being off or being whatever Mike Williams is, because Keenan Allen is a technician, and he's going to teach a young corner, Damari Mathis, what football is all about.
But here's the thing, though, because the Broncos go left side, right side for the most part, it's really up to the Chargers what they're setting up matchup wise. So I think it's on them more than on the Broncos, unless they want to have Pat Surtain shadow a specific receiver. So it's well and good, but tactically speaking, it's not going to be something that the Broncos set up. It's going to be what the Chargers do, and what the Chargers and how the Chargers choose to use their receivers and try to exploit the mismatch one way or the other.
We got espionage talk because are you shadowing Keenan Allen and are you spying Justin Herbert?
Who are you spying him with?
God, Caden Stearns, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So
you don't have your Danny Trevathans. You don't have your guys that you can trust to spy a mobile and athletic quarterback. So, like, you've got some decisions to make if you're Jair Evero, and we'll see what Jair Evero makes in those decisions on Monday night.
We'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out. It is Orange and Blue today. It is Cecil Lammey. It is Andrew Mason. And Mace, you're going to get to relax this weekend a little bit, huh?
Not really. No, tomorrow's not a day off. Tomorrow's a football Friday. I'm over at the Broncos tomorrow. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just a time shifting thing, Cecil. Well,
you'll be able to relax because you're not on air 24/7. I did this morning at 8:00, and then next thing I know, they get in my ear. They're like, Andrew Mason coming up next. I was like, what, Mace? Like, so here you are, like every show. Did you do every show today? I think I listened to Stokely and Zach.
I did. I didn't do Players Club today. That's okay. But yeah, I did Stokely and Zach. I did
the drive, right?
The drive, and I just did the drive. That's why I was late coming in here.
Because DMAC has no respect for us. Yes.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm watching my team give up 6 runs in the bottom of the third of the playoff game. So I am let it off your chest, baby. I'm in a mental state right now.
Let it off your chest, baby. Yeah. I noticed you were distracted, and I was like, "That's got to be baseball."
Because the Phillies put up a 6th spot in the bottom of the third, and now the Braves are probably going to have to try to save their season tomorrow with Charlie Morton on the hill, and he always gets drilled in games at Philadelphia. I feel like my team's title defense is coming to a bitter end in the next 20 hours or so. Oh well, but other than that, I'm great. I shouldn't complain. I shouldn't complain. They won it all last year, right? But the funny thing is, and I think, and if you're a Broncos fan, I mean, I think you remember this with the Broncos coming off of Super Bowl 50. Just because you won it the previous year doesn't mean you're not upset when things go wrong the next year, right?
Right.
Yeah, because all you have is this moment right now. What happened is in the past is in the past. You want to have the most right frickin' now. And I want the most right frickin' now, and I'm looking. The only team getting the most of the Phillies, and I hate the dog-ass Phillies. Sorry, I hate although now it's kind of deviated now, but anyway, I had to get that off my chest, man. Man. I mean, my mom is texting me right now, like for the picture, like for goodness sakes, get him out. And I'm like, they already did. They're already on the next picture.
All right. Well, then I want to know, Mace, as we got Monday, we'll do Monday's show. But I want to know why you're a Braves fan. Like how that connection happened, because you grew up in Tampa. And you have the Rays.
Story. I moved to Tampa when I was 11. Before that, I lived in Richmond, Virginia. So actually, the funny thing is, my first team way back was Washington. The first NFL game I went to was at RFK Stadium.
Okay.
Before I turned 11. And Richmond, Virginia was the home of the Braves AAA team for, I believe, 42 seasons, including when I grew up there. And so you remember when the Braves used to be on TBS and all that. And so you'd see the guys, they come through Richmond on their way up, and then you'd see them on TV. So that's how I became. That's how I became a fan. Like except for my dad, for some reason, everyone else in my family is a Braves fan.
Okay, who's your dad a fan of then?
The Yankees, because back when he was a kid in the 50s, like a lot of kids of the 50s were Yankees fans.
Okay.
Like, regardless of where they lived. He lived in North Carolina. Our mutual friend Jim Sacamano grew up here in Colorado, and he is as diehard a Yankee fan as he came. But that's kind of that generation, right? If you grew up in the 50s, the Yankees were the alpha and the omega, nationally speaking. So yeah.
And you had a little bit of the Roger Maris 61 and 61. You're probably surprised I know that, Mace.
Yeah, because this guy be killing you. We're actually having baseball and a football show. I mean, what's going on here, man? I mean, this show got hijacked. But the thing is, even though tomorrow is a football Friday and today is a football Thursday, it is an actual Friday. It is the end of the week. It does feel like a little bit like a mess around Friday. And the other thing is, and I was saying this on the air, It feels like we have been talking about this Chargers game forever. Because the last game was last Thursday. We've had all this week. Dare I say, Cecil, there really isn't a heck of a lot more that we can say about this game coming up on Monday night.
No.
I think over the course of the week, we have mentioned just about everything of relevance, unless we want to do a deep dive into the long snappers. By the way, Dwayne Stukes not wanting to tip his hand today on the long snappers as to who was ahead because he didn't want the Chargers to kind of get a hint and start studying film, long snapper film. Now, as I said to D-Mac and Derek Wolf on the air, I guess with like Mitchell Fabroni, for example, you can go back and watch his USFL film because he was the long snapper for the Pittsburgh Maulers. So, but that's the sort of paranoia that lurks throughout the NFL, is a concern about teams scouting the long snapper. But you know what? Last week, when the Broncos had a field goal get blocked, the pressure did come from the A gap. And by the way, Stoops kind of threw Bobenmoyer under the bus today when he was asked about the missed field goal. When he talked about the pressure between, he talked about the snapper and the right guard, and that's where the pressure and the guard, and that's where the pressure came, and that was it. And also, he didn't even pronounce poor Bobenmoyer's surname correctly. Bobenmeyer, I think he said.
Bobenmeyer.
I mean, what does it tell you as a player if you've played for a guy for 7 months and the guy mispronounces your name?
They tell you by your number.
Yeah, I love Dwayne Stukes. I love his press conferences. He's fun and he is authentic. And I love the way that he's got this little reaction when he hears a question. There's like he smiles, but the smile can be one of two things. The smile can mean, "Oh man, that's a really insightful question," or the smile can mean, "Oh crap, do I really have to answer this right now?"
Right. He also gives you a look sometimes like, "You're stupid for asking that question." He doesn't say it.
Yeah.
But it definitely is facial expressions, right? He's very expressionful. Expressionful? I don't know.
I think expressive is the term. Yes. He's very expressive.
Okay.
Of in terms of how he feels about things.
Okay. So, you got a bionic hand, says
no,
Nate.
I don't have a bionic hand. I have a hand that actually needs some surgery. Maybe it'll be bionic after I have carpal tunnel surgery at some point.
Well, then they'll have you doing radio spots from your hospital bed, Mace.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Give me my phone, doctor. I got to be on the air. I'm on with Stokely and Zach.
Yeah. Though, why do I get the feeling that at some point this is actually that all these shows are actually going to include me doing spots from the hospital?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have a feeling that's going to be in play at some point.
Yes. Where in the world is Andrew Mason? The doctor's office. That's where he's at.
Well, and sometimes I got to get to the doctor for a couple of things, but the way the schedule goes during the season, it's impossible to find the dadgum time. And you just mentioned how often I'm popping on the air, at different parts of the day.
How can you do anything?
I've got to finish like an injury piece. I've got another story to write here, and I've been going from A to B to C to D to E to F today. It's getting kind of crazy, Cecil.
It is.
What is it? What Snap said? I've got the power. I always thought. I think they sang it's getting kind of heavy, but for years I thought it was it's getting kind of hectic. That's what I thought they sang for a while.
They don't say that? I thought that's what they said too.
Okay, well, I got to look this up now.
Okay,
hang on.
Look it up.
Snap.
Orange and blue today.
The power.
You got the power.
I got the power.
That's right. See, Mace will belt it out for you, baby.
Oh,
that's right.
Oh,
snap.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Please stay off my back, or I will attack, and you don't want that. Dun 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 dun. It's getting kind of heavy, according to the lyrics here.
It's getting kind of heavy. I always thought it was hectic.
Yeah, I thought it was. Oh, so
wow.
You and I thought the same thing for a long time, right?
Yeah, but you figured this out. I was just sitting here today, thought it was that.
I looked it up a while ago, and that's why I just confirmed it there to be sure, to make sure my mind wasn't playing tricks on me. But yeah, all those years I heard hectic. And just like for a lot of years from Carly Simon, You're So Vain, I wondered why she was singing about clowns in her coffee. Why would you have clowns in your coffee?
That doesn't make sense.
There's actually you could buy a T-shirt that actually has clowns in coffee. because so many people mishear that lyric. And I told my wife, like, because that song came on, I said, for years I thought she was singing Clowns in My Coffee. She's like, how could anyone think that? I'm like, I guess I just misheard it. Just like you and I both obviously misheard Snap and The Power. I've got the power. Oh my gosh, this is like this.
People love it.
This went off the rails so fast.
I blame the Braves. And stupid pitcher tomorrow.
Spencer Strider, who got shelled, who's been terrific. He's been terrific this year, but he's coming off the IL, and he looked like he was struggling coming off the IL because that poor dude got shelled. And also, I mean, one of the runs was because they had an intentional walk, which you never should have had. Ugh.
Anyway.
All right.
We'll be back on Monday.
Got to be tomorrow. Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
So what? Yeah, let's see. So it's going to be 3:30 Mountain Time. I'm getting this in my head because it's going to be 2:30 Pacific time
for pregame.
Right. I am hopeful that I will be in the press box in time to join you from SoFi Stadium. It's kind of tight. It's kind of tight because I'm actually flying in on the morning of the game.
Okay.
But knock on whatever it's like a speaker
travel
here.
Safe. That's a space.
Yeah.
Heater. We don't pay the bills in the studio, so we got to use space.
We have a space heater here in the bullpen.
In the heated studios. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Don't start any fires. Get that paper away from the space heater.
Yeah, I know. I guess. Well, I mean, I didn't put the paper. This is our 104.3 The Fan editorial meeting agenda from this past Tuesday. I'll throw that in the recycling bin down the hall. So,
well, travel safe, Mace, and as always, be safe, be kind, and know that you are appreciated. He's Andrew Mason. I'm Cecil Lammey. Everyone, stay tuned and stay frosty.